It's Thursday, March 30th, 2023. Well, it's amazing what $500 billion can do. They have no doubt stabilized markets. They've literally cooled the fear in these markets down, hoping that everybody's going to believe that this is all going to go away. You know it's not going to. It is just a matter of time before we see more of this depositor money flow out of these banks into people's mattresses, into gold, into silver. But it is shocking to see $500 billion in 2 weeks, what it can do to calm the fears, stabilize the markets. But it's just a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, ladies and gentlemen. It is not going to fix the problem. All it is going to do is cause more inflation, and there is huge concern with what's happening with these banks. Think about, we were just told everything was okay, but it just took $500 billion being injected into the banking system to calm the fears, to stabilize markets. Things are breaking, ladies and gentlemen. You know this. I want to start the video today with this quote. The basic problem is dishonesty puts you in a place of weakness, and the truth puts you in a place of strength. If you are not being honest with yourself and the other people around you, you are going to be found out. This is author journalist James Howard Kunstler. I think this hits the nail on the head, and a lot of people are going to be found out for the frauds that they are. You know, there's people out here that make videos all the time, and they don't walk the walk. They talk a lot, but they don't walk the walk. They have about as much preparation as a gnat for what is coming. So be very careful who you're listening to, and be very careful about these banks and what we're being told daily by the cheerleaders, by the economists, by the analysts, by the TV anchors. They're telling us everything's fine. Real estate's fine. You should buy a house. The banking system is fine. This is all normal. Everything's fine. And of course, there's people making videos daily telling us what's wrong every day, but they don't walk the walk. And these people will be found out, because the truth always rises to the top, and every one of us needs to be honest with ourselves. We all need to be walking the walk. We all need to be doing more right now. We all need to be preparing more, doing more right now, and being honest with ourselves with what is happening, and are we doing enough right now to protect ourselves and our families? And if you're being honest with yourself and you say no, the answer is no, then you need to take action and be doing more right now. So while the liars keep doubling down that everything is okay, you better be taking action, ladies and gentlemen. What's coming financially, what's coming socially is going to be much worse than anyone could have imagined. Article today on CNBC. More home sellers are sitting out of the spring housing market. You know, they like to tell us that there's just no inventory, nobody's selling homes. I'll tell you right now, I got 5 listings sent to me from Zillow today on homes in areas that I'm looking at. I got 2 price reductions. Every day I'm getting new listings. I'm getting more price reductions. But this CNBC article wants us to believe that you know everything's okay in housing, housing's stable because there's no inventory. People aren't going to sell because they got a mortgage rate at 3%, so they're just not going to sell. My question is, what happens when those people who got those 3% mortgage rates, what happens when they lose their jobs? What happens when their spouse loses a job? What happens when they need to raise capital? What happens when they need to sell the vacation home or the Airbnb that nobody is renting? That's the question. And the answer is they're going to sell. And we're going to see more inventory by these people. We're going to see more inventory coming from the home builders. I can tell you right now, there is so much home inventory by these home builders out here. And they're still building houses. I don't see right now a lack of inventory in my area, but I see more people, more sellers coming, while the pool of qualified buyers shrinks because less people next year or at the end of this year, less people will have jobs, less people will be qualified. More people are going to have more debt, and they're not going to be able to qualify for a home. And the bottom line is, people just with the inflation, just not going to be able to afford the monthly payment on a home or afford the down payment. The housing market is going to crash, ladies and gentlemen. That's my opinion. Wolfstreet.com, how 3% mortgages altered the housing market for years to come. We just talked about that, but I talked to a friend of mine today, Marshall, about this article, about this topic, and he made a very, very good point. There are a lot of real estate agents in this country. We have agents, we have brokers, we have mortgage bankers, we have mortgage lenders, we have loan officers. We have a lot of people in the real estate industry. There are 1.6 million real estate agents in the U.S. There's 340,000 loan officers. There's 4,338 financial institutions that provide millions of mortgages. So the question is, when people aren't buying homes, or these people at 3% or below decide that they cannot move because they're not going to go from 3% to a 6% mortgage, well, what is going to happen to all these people in the real estate sector? And we look at a real estate market now that is so stagnant, sales going way down across America, prices beginning to slip, and the qualified buyer pool is shrinking. So what are 1.6 million real estate agents going to do? What are 340,000 loan officers going to do as we enter a massive real estate collapse, ladies and gentlemen? As more people lose their jobs, think about what is about to happen in the real estate sector. And if you're in the industry right now, I pray to God that you saved a lot of money. I hope that you're prepared to go the next 5 years at least in a very, very stagnant market. This is going to get extremely ugly. And just think about the amount of people in the industry who are just not going to survive. How are they going to pay their bills? How do they make their own mortgages when they cannot sell a house because maybe there's not inventory in your area, people can't qualify, people are losing jobs. The real estate market is beginning to collapse, and these people are going to have a very, very difficult time surviving because there's just not going to be enough people to buy these homes. Market Watch: piles of commercial real estate loans at banks may be worth just 77 cents on the dollar, if that. I can say this: it's worth probably a lot less than 77 cents on the dollar right now. 77 cents would probably be the top end. There is $5.5 trillion in commercial real estate loans right now. A professor at Columbia University said older office buildings in Manhattan could tumble, get this, 70%. And the question is, who's going to buy this stuff? Who's going to buy it at 30% off, 50% off, 70% off? If you can't occupy it, who's going to buy it? You may be seeing a lot of foreign money possibly coming into America, or you're going to see a lot of empty buildings just sitting. But again, who's going to occupy these office buildings? Who's going to occupy these malls? I have no idea. Comment down below. Here's another one from Market Watch. U.S. GDP in fourth quarter trimmed again at 2.6% on weaker consumer spending. It shouldn't even be 2.6%. This number is fraudulent in my opinion because a large amount of this is government spending. Another a portion of this, 70% of this, is consumer spending, and the consumer is spending a lot more and getting a lot less. They're having and being forced to spend more because of inflation. So this 2.6% is very, very misleading. Here's one that my friend John sent me today. Lindsey Graham sounds alarm on drug cartels. This is very interesting. This guy is a real loose cannon. Let's be very, very clear here. This has nothing to do about drug cartels, has nothing to do about overdoses. What it has to do is Mexico now wants to be part of the BRICS nations. They want to be part of the BRICS. And so it is about the US dollar. This isn't about drugs. It isn't about deaths. It is about US dollars. And we know from history what happens when nations want to leave the US dollar for something else. We go to war. It's not going to work this time because there are too many nations now going to the bricks, and we're not going to be able to stop it. We are not going to be able to stop it. And this clown, Lindsey Graham, should be ashamed of himself. The hedge today, France buys 65,000 tons of liquid natural gas from China in first ever yuan denominated trade. This is historical. This is now watching the world change right before your very eyes. This is a blow to the US dollar, and this is just the beginning. And this is why I highly recommend that you better have some gold and silver, ladies and gentlemen, because the dollar is on borrowed time. You have to have dollars right now. There's no doubt about it. But at some point, the dollar is not going to exist, or it's going to come under serious competition, and it is going to have less purchasing power than it does now. What are all these countries doing? They are stockpiling massive amounts of gold. That's what their central banks are doing. So just watching all this take place right before our very eyes, things are accelerating. And, you know, while people watch sports and Netflix and cartoons and just believe that everything is going to be okay, there are so many things happening behind the scenes that you better be preparing for, spiritually, financially, socially. And the people who are not, they're going to be absolutely left behind. They're going to be the biggest losers in this game, ladies and gentlemen. I highly recommend, and I'm not telling you what to do. It's not financial advice. It's what I'm doing. This is what I recommend to my friends, my family members. You better have precious metals right now. I was looking at a lot of the online dealers. They are absolutely overloaded. Record-breaking sales in March, and it's going to get worse or more difficult to try and purchase these metals because the premiums are, I think, about to go up. We're going to see shortages. I think the wait times are going to be longer. I think we're going to begin to see shortages here in gold and silver very soon. Some of you may have already begun to see the shortages. Many of you continue to ask where I buy from. SD Bullion. I have a link down below. If you need a reliable source, I don't know how long it's going to take. I have an order in that's over a week now. I haven't gotten mine, but I'm not worried about it. But SD Bullion sent out a big email yesterday apologizing to their clients that they just cannot keep up with the demand. They've hired extra people. They're working around the clock. And, you know, I get it. When there's this much demand, you're going to have to wait. But again, if you need a reliable source, SD Bullion, link down below. I don't know how long it's going to take. If it's going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, what the estimated time of arrival is to get this stuff. But at least to me, get the order in, lock it in, and at least you know it's coming. But this is unbelievable how many people are waking up and buying this stuff. And when you see individuals going in and buying 700, and this was told to me by SD Bullion, orders of 700, 800,000, $1 million in precious metal orders. It's unbelievable. Something's going on. The people with money know something's going on, and they're going to protect their wealth. And I think all of us should be doing the same. Just shifting gears here, an article that I thought was pretty interesting. This was on CNBC today. Food at your favorite ballpark is probably going to be more expensive. First off, it blows my mind how adults will go out there and spend ridiculous amounts of money to go watch a baseball game or a football game. You know, these teams, these corporations really don't like you to begin with, and yet people will spend $100 on a ticket, and they're going to spend a lot more on a hot dog. But while most people don't have gold or silver, they're buying hot dogs at baseball parks, and they're paying a lot of money for it. And just on this list, it just gives you the price. And these prices are going up, but these are the prices for 2022. The price for a hot dog at the San Francisco stadium. Who is it? I don't even know. The San Francisco, is it the, it's not the Padres. I don't even know. This is how connected I'm to sports now. But you're going to pay, you go to San Francisco, a baseball game, you're going to pay $7.50 for a hot dog. San Diego, that's the Padres, $7.50. Washington Nationals, $6.95. Milwaukee Brewers, $6.75. Los Angeles Dodgers, $6.75. Texas Rangers, $6.75. New York Mets, you're going to pay $6.70 for a hot dog. That's 2022. they're saying the prices are going to be up for 2023. So I'm sure that the price for parking is going to be up, the price for a ticket will be up, the price for a hot dog, a beer, all going to be up. Who in their right mind supports these teams? It's ridiculous. So I'm all for a good time. I'm all for balance in your life, but just remember how they really, these teams really showed their true colors a couple of years ago, and what they support. I'm not going to get political here. You can do whatever you want, but think about, they're charging you $7.50 for a hot dog. That's the amount of respect that they have for you, the ticket buyer, who already paid $100 for a ticket and probably paid $25, $50 for parking. Absolutely ridiculous. Stop supporting these teams. Put some money in your pocket, build up some capital, buy some gold, buy some silver. Don't be buying hot dogs and beer and baseball tickets, ladies and gentlemen. There is no time for this. You need to be building capital and not supporting this with your money or your time. Last article, Goodbye Longtime Restaurant Chain closes 2 locations after 22 years and customers are devastated. One, this is Outback Steakhouse, one in Maui in Kihei, and the other in Hawaii in Kai. 3 other restaurants exist. They're not closing yet, but 2 of them are closing. And why is that? I have no idea. It doesn't really say, but I will tell you this. The Outback in my area, last time I was there, I got a couple sandwiches there. They were the worst things I've ever eaten in my life. I couldn't even finish it, called them up, and brought it back. And they gave me a coupon or a gift certificate for another meal. I gave it to some homeless people because I couldn't even eat it, and I just thought that really should have been handled better. But how you could even allow this type of food to even leave your restaurant told me all that I needed to know. So I gave the certificates to some homeless people so they could at least eat. Hopefully they didn't get food poisoning, but absolutely just the service wasn't good on how it was handled, and just allowing food like that to even leave your restaurant, unacceptable. So I'll never eat there again. And so this is going to continue to happen. The bad service, the bad food, the smaller portions, and the rising prices, you're going to see more of these places fold. And it's sad but true. But at least if you're going to raise your prices, at least have the food quality good. At least have good food quality, hold high standards to your food quality. Even if you have to raise the prices, cut the portions, the food quality should at least be good. So I'm going to leave it there today. I'm not going to sit here and talk about food now, but it's just a reminder, if you're running a business, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's food or anything else, you better have top-notch service and quality. Even if the prices are going up, if you're going to survive right now, you've got to be better than everybody else. You've got to have better service, better quality. You better treat your clients and your customers with respect, because if you don't, they're going to go somewhere else. And this is going to be a very, very rough year on retail, on restaurants, you name it. And next year, it'll be even worse. So if you want to survive into 2024, you better take action right now. Make sure that the people are working for you, that they're doing the right job, that they're taking care of your customers, and you better be there watching this. So many people run businesses and they're not there, and that's why they don't survive, and that's why they won't survive, especially in this environment. You need to be there. You need to be hands-on. You need to be watching what is taking place in your businesses right now. I'm going to leave it there. God bless every one of you. Have a great day. Don't be fooled. Do not be fooled by what's happening. They pumped in a lot of money, and we're going to pay the price for that $500 billion. That's just the start. Next, it'll be $1 trillion. Next, it's going to be a bigger bank. Next, it's going to be more bailouts. Where does it end? It's going to end in a massive Great Depression, the biggest depression America has ever seen. Prepare for it, ladies and gentlemen. God bless.